Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV2. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Ikechi Anya says positive thinking can fire Scotland to the World Cup. Gordon Strachan says there are other options to cover the loss of Brown and Armstrong. Kenny Dalglish backs Kieran Tierney's versatility. Yeah, just a few of the things we'll be discussing, and no surprise that it's all to do with the World Cup qualifiers. There's lots to talk about domestically as well in the company of Alan Ruff and myself, Peter Martin. I'm delighted to say we have Queen of the South's midfielder and the PFA chairman, John Rankin. Delighted to have John with us. Still going strong, Ruffy. Doesn't look as if he's going to give up. He still looks as if the fitness is there.
Yeah, certainly is, but he's been like his whole career, so I mean it's not going to drift now. I don't think so.
Yep, and hopefully by the end of this, John, we'll have secured that 3-year contract for you as well. At the age of 34, if we do that, we need a cut, Ruffy, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's have a look at the back pages of the newspapers this morning. And of course, we're not in the Brown stuff. This is Gordon Strachan talking about the loss of Scott Brown and Stuart Armstrong is a huge blow, but they've got others there that can step up to the plate. And also all the pressures on Scotland, says Lubomir Moravcik. He was in Scotland talking about this match against Slovakia on Thursday night. What about the Sun? We haven't lost Messi or Aguero. Gordon not been in any way disparaging, just throwing up the positives of the other players that can step up. Lubomir Moravcik, the Suns decided to go with sorry Celtic, your titles are devalued when Rangers were not in the division. That's another matter for debate. And there's a little sidebar there. It's absolutely fantastic. It's Arjen Robben putting the boot into Carlo Ancelotti, saying the kids' coach was better. Can't beat an introverted Dutchman for just a quote like that. And also in the Daily Mail, we've got Callum won't let you down, Brendan Rodgers backing Callum McGregor, and just a little sidebar there from Kilmarnock, keen to talk to Jim McIntyre. So there you have it. That's the back page headlines for tonight's show. Lots to talk about. Of course, Scotland against Slovakia will dominate our thoughts. But a couple of wee things there caught my eye. Basically all the furore over Scott Brown and Stuart Armstrong. We have to now look to the others who will step up to the plate, Ruffy.
Yeah, and Gordon's got to make a decision whether he goes with the experienced players who've been there and done it before, or does he throw what you would call a sort of a wild card in there, a couple of the young boys, McGinn and McGregor. It'll be his decision. He'll analyse what they're like in training, you know, and when you listen to Gordon, he always seems to feed off players in form, players playing at the top of their game and their team as well. So he takes that into consideration, but I just think that he'll go with the experienced players playing in the English Premiership if he can get a chance, but he'll have to make a big decision.
Yeah, here's the remaining fixtures. John, are you, like many of us, filled with optimism or just a little scepticism about possibly the match in Slovenia for Scotland on Sunday?
Yeah, I don't think you can look that far ahead at the moment in time. I think you just need to look at the game on Friday night, or Thursday night, sorry. I think that's the most important one. Take care of that and then let that other one take care of itself. Ruffy's right. I mean, you look at the players that we have out in Brown and Armstrong, but we have got capable players to come in. And you look at John McGinn and McGregor, the two of them are in form at this moment in time. And the only thing I think that we've lost is that winning mentality, losing Brown and McGregor, because the two of them are used to winning games week in, week out, and that's great to have throughout your side. And to lose the two of them who have that, obviously, it'll be extremely difficult.
Yeah, isn't it amazing that we're talking about a boy that, you know, just over a year ago, you know, possibly didn't have a cap, one cap maybe in Stuart Armstrong, but we now look at as if he's an ever-present.
Yeah, Stuart's always had that. He's a great upbringing. He's been unfortunate he didn't move earlier on in his career. I mean, I played with him at Dundee United for a few years, and he always had that ability to score goals. And he's added other side of his game recently, where he's going tracking back, working hard, being dominant, and actually dictating games for long spells now. So he'll be a big miss. He will be, but we've got we've certainly got players that can come in and stand up and be counted in Thursday night and hopefully get us 3 points.
Yeah, and of course we're looking for the 3 points, Robbie, but let's not forget, when you look at the group table, we are relying on England again just to, I mean, destiny's in our own hands anyway, but we all expect England to beat Slovenia.
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't particularly impressed with Slovenia, but they are a very hard team to break down, you know, but once you break them down, obviously I think there's goals there to be had. Slovakia for me is a team, you know, I think they've got really quality players. We saw them going 1-up against England, and if they'd held on a wee bit longer they could have got a draw there, and if they can go there and get a draw against England, we're going to get a really hard game for us. That's why I think we need to score 2 goals in this game, and let's hope we can.
Yeah, you've mentioned a couple of things that have been worrying you over the last couple of months. You've talked about previous games where we've slipped up, we haven't been able to get the goals. But as time has moved on, Ruffy, slowly but surely players are playing at a higher level. There's a better spirit in the camp, and as Ikechi was talking about, we need that positivity.
Yeah, I think all the players will be positive. We should be positive as well. We're going into a game, it's at home. The support behind us, I mean, the supporters out there will be big players as well, particularly if we can get an early goal, and that place will absolutely erupt and the players will gain confidence from that. But I really do think we need to score first. I think we've got players in it that can do that for us, and I think that on the night, you know, we're on a winning run just now, so why shouldn't we go into the game with confidence? But we have to really start on the front foot. We have to let them know that they're in a game. My biggest problem is there's too many of these teams come to Hampden and stroll about as if they're world beaters, and they're not. And that's why I think Scott Brown's a big miss, because he's the one that gets in about them. He's the one that identifies the players that make the other teams tick. He's in about their faces and they don't like it. Unfortunately, we don't have a player like that now, but other players will have to pick it up, and I just think if we get the first goal, I think we'll win. Yeah,
well, Ikechi was talking yesterday about the positive thinking and, of course, dealing with the pressure that's coming.
So yeah, there's always pressure in football and international football, but you know, you thrive off it. You know, these are the games that you want to play in, that you want to participate in. So you know, it's an honour to be able to participate in them. And you know, like I say, we've been training well. We had a training session just now, and we're looking forward to the games.
Yeah, I mean, there's a positivity from every player who... I mean, players are always positive, John, but I think there's a greater sense of optimism among the players now because the results are backing up their displays.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially when you look at what's happened at Hampden the last couple of games. The crowd have got right behind them, the spirit. And not only that, we're playing an attractive style of football as well. And you listen to him there speaking about the pressure. I think players enjoy pressure, I really do. I think they know that they need to go out and step up to the plate. They go out and Thursday night we're under no illusions. We know what we need. We need 3 points to take it on to Monday, and there's a World Cup at place. I've spoke about it before. We've missed a generation. Whereas you look at the Euros 2 years ago almost, when you had Wales and Northern Ireland, there was young guys watching the TV and watching, they were being inspired by Northern Ireland and Wales players getting positive results at a major tournament. We haven't had that. We now need that to bring on the next generation of the kids coming through and give them something to dream about and go and work hard and be part of.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you saying that. I mean, we've got Barry Ferguson who comes in on a regular basis on a Wednesday. He's one of a number of gifted players down through the years, Ruffy, that just never got to sample going to a major tournament.
Yeah, and you would think this would be the drive for the present group of players, because a lot of them have never been to a big competition either. A lot of them are getting on a wee bit, and it's always good to sample a big competition in your CV, and that should be the driving force for most of them in this team, that this might be their last chance.
Yep, and there's of course the young breed that John was talking about that will be looking at this and thinking, if they can get there, it would be absolutely superb. Ken Dalglish has been speaking over the last 24 hours, talking about some of the quality we do have. And one man that seems to occupy so many players' thoughts is Kieran Tierney, Ikechi Anya. Like so many people down south, keeping a close eye on Tierney and the qualities that he has.
Been brilliant, hasn't he? I mean, if you see I think his first performance was at home a couple of months back. and you know, he marshalled their left winger. You know, he did everything perfectly, and you know, as long as he's putting performances in that for Scotland, you know, I'm pretty sure he doesn't mind if he's right or left. You know, obviously we've got another great one of Andy Robertson, so it's a good problem for the gaffer to have to put a player like that in sort of a different position. But you know, he's been brilliant, and hopefully it will be if he's picked on Thursday.
Yeah, just wish he was 6'4" and a centre half, John. It's the only thing that we've got a gaping hole in. But just on that point, just briefly, would you stick him in at right back with no fears again?
Yeah, I'd stick him in at right back with no fears. I think he's been brilliant. I really do. His Champions League games when he goes and plays left back in his natural position. I don't mean he strolls through it, but he just looks so confident and so happy to be playing there. But obviously you've got Andrew Robertson on that side as well. And we've got two full-backs with such high quality and get great energy going forward, and they want to participate in the play, but not only that, they can defend. I think you've got to find a place for both, and Gordon's obviously done that by playing him on the right, and I think he has to continue playing there.
Yeah, OK. I'm going to throw up a possible lineup and let John and Ruffy argue over it after this quick break. Knowledge, it's as simple as that, Ruffy. Of course, it's hard to believe one player can inspire one particular team and a nation. Diego Maradona, I mean, at that point, I don't know about you, but you were constantly watching him on Channel 4's football programme, inspiring Napoli to heights that they've never managed to achieve in such a long time.
Yeah, and it's amazing how one guy can do that and just inspire everybody round about him. I mean, they did have good players there, but no, obviously his quality. And I think if anybody gets a chance to watch his thing on Facebook, his warm-up is absolutely something else to the music, isn't it?
Yeah,
and, it's just,
life is life.
It's superb.
Yeah. Where does he rank in your top 5 world players of all time?
Oh, he's in the top 5, yeah, I would say he's in the top 4.
Yeah. Can you give me a number?
He would probably be 3.
Oh, right, okay. 3 ranks. Where does he rank in yours?
I don't know, Peter. I've still got my nappy changed in 87. I've never seen him play. I hear a lot of good things about him, and I've seen the clip Ruffy's talking about. Maybe certainly a special talent, but I think I only remember 1990, roughly 94 for the World Cup.
So you actually 1998 we qualified for France, and after that you just had that barren spell like the rest of us.
I can remember roughly 1990. I think it was a white strip with yellow and blue stripes going across it.
Yeah, dreadful.
Yeah,
it was.
I remember that slightly, but yeah, 1994 was probably my first World Cup. So Maradona, I think was he not banned for drugs in 1994 at some point?
Yeah, I think he scored against Greece and then did that crazy run towards the camera.
Yeah.
And then it all went pear-shaped from there.
Georgie Hadji was the main man then.
Yeah. You like the lefties, don't you?
Yeah.
Just on that point, here's the Scotland squad. I'm going to throw up, this is the squad that he has with the changes, obviously, that he's made to it. And we don't have a lot of options up front. The midfield, you know, we've got a lot of quality to pick from. What's your thoughts on? What's your thoughts on the defence as well? Here's a probable lineup, or a possible lineup, and I'm quite willing for you to dismantle it.
You said I like my lefties. It's 4 left-footed players at the back.
Which is not unusual. They've had that before.
No, it's not. It's been obviously worked the last game. I think that the 4 of them played together the last game. So I think that will be the back 4. I can definitely see Fletcher playing. I think we need that experience with Brown being out. And I think Fletcher will marshal the midfield. MacArthur and Bannon, I can see that. I can definitely see MacArthur playing. Bannon, I'm not sure about Bannon. It could be Bannon, Snodgrass or Morrison for me, either of the 3.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
But not McGinn or McGregor.
I would love to see McGinn going and playing. I think he deserves it. I think he's had a great couple of seasons. He's done well. He's gradually progressed through his St Mirren days to his Hibs days. He's now got his chance with Scotland. I think when do we eventually give them a chance to go and play and put them in the high pressure moment? I think John McGinn deserves that. I don't know whether Gordon Strachan will throw him in or not. As Ruffy said earlier, he usually goes with experiences in these matters, and that's why I can see him going with either Morrison or Snodgrass. And the front three, I mean, it speaks for itself. You've got Griffiths, who needs to play. He's the one that scores goals, and then Matt Phillips, he stretches the game, great pace and strength, and then Jamesy Forrest on the other side, who's, as I said, he gets it full-backs, he's really quick, and he's got that winning mentality that we spoke about earlier in the show at this moment in time, and long may that continue.
So, Ruffy, I gave you a possibility on it. The only reason I threw Bannon in there is sometimes you've actually got to listen to the snippets from the manager in a press conference and try and just gauge. You know, sometimes he throws you something and you don't know he's thrown you it. And you just wonder. He's played Bannon before, you know, in the central midfield role. I can't second guess him. My only problem with it is he's a creature of habit. He likes experience. He likes people that are loyal, and he's loyal to them as well, that he knows can do a particular job in his system. So with that in mind, I see McGinn and McGregor being substitutes coming on to try and make an impact if they need to get something a wee bit different. Yeah. The only thing I would say, and I might be open to criticism here, if he's going to pick somebody to come on, or even way out, I just don't see the two of them starting. If he's going to pick somebody to come on, I think it'll be McGregor before McGinn, because McGregor's got Champions League experience.
Well, I would start with the midfield, is the one we keep talking about. I think Phillips and Forrest are a must. I think these are the two kind of players that get the fans off their seat, given the right ball. You know, they can take on people, they can get into dangerous areas, both of them can score goals. So I think these two are a given. I agree with you, Fletcher, just sitting there because of the experience he's got. But I would sway towards Morrison, because he started Morrison in the first game and he liked Morrison and he picked up the injury. So I think that gives you an indication that he fancied him more than the others.
Yeah.
You know, I just think this could be the game where somebody like McGinn gets a shout because of, as I said earlier, he likes players on form. He's just scored 2 at the weekend. You know, he goes by people. Maybe that's the kind of player that we need. I think he might get the chance instead of MacArthur. Yeah. But again, that'd be a gamble. I think Gordon might do something, you know, just off a left field, you know, just to make it. Well, we'd all be talking about it. We'd all be going, wow. But the thing about it is, if he was in the team, would you be going? You wouldn't be going, oh, what's that all about? No, you would think that he's there because of how he's playing and the goals that he scored. Yeah,
I would probably I would probably, if McGinn starts, I'll be gobsmacked.
Yeah. I think there's a great chance.
I mean, it's out of left field. It is out of left field.
Yeah.
It goes against the grain. Not that I don't think McGinn's capable, but it's a huge game to throw somebody into their first cap. I think they could come on as an impact. I might be wrong, you know.
I agree with you as well, though. If McGinn doesn't start, I would fancy McGregor to come on in the game than what I would do John McGinn. But out of the both of them, I think if anyone's got a chance of starting, it would be John McGinn.
Yeah. Here's what John McGinn makes of potentially starting.
I think every time I've come out with the squad, I've learned something new and improved, and I feel at club level I'm playing some of the best football I've ever played. So I'm confident, but at the same time I'm understanding there's a lot of good midfielders in the squad. So whatever the manager decides, I'll be delighted to be part of it, and what could be a really special week for us.
Yep, I must admit, Ruffy,
No,
he would surprise me.
No,
it would go against the grain of what he normally does.
On the form he was on at the weekend, you know, and then Gordon, I mean, if you listen to Gordon's interviews, he certainly picks team on how the players are training.
Yeah. Can I ask you this then? What's the difference between the form of McGinn playing for Hibs and the form of a man who had 2 goals playing for Celtic and Callum McGregor?
But he wasn't in the squad. He wasn't picked initially. You know, McGinn was picked in the 26, 27 or what it is. McGregor's just been brought into the squad, so obviously Gordon sees something in McGinn.
For a man that listens to interviews, he doesn't read what the squad was originally, did you?
No. But from my point of view, I'm looking at him saying to myself, I don't think McGinn will start. It doesn't matter if he's in now. There's been a clamour for. I'm looking at a man who is a creature of habit. Who, again, I go back to all the things that he continually does. McGinn I don't see starting because it goes against the grain of all the other players that have been loyal to him.
Experience.
So that's the first thing. But secondary to that, I look at him and he always values players who have played at either the highest level in the Premier League in England or are the Celtic players who have played Champions League. That's why I'm looking, I'm saying to myself, OK, he's brought McGregor in. He said it was an easy call to bring Callum McGregor in.
So was Bannon not in the last squad because he was injured? Because he never performed in the last game. You know, I'm just wondering why all of a sudden Bannon would be forced into a team when he wasn't in the last team. Well, unless there was a reason. I can't remember why he wasn't. I'm not pushing
Bannon. I'm just telling you that on listening to him, I'm thinking he might have thrown it up there.
See, I thought the last game, I thought Phillips was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
Being in the team, and nobody was speaking about Phillips, and then obviously Gordon had an eye on him from previous years. And he just threw him in. I
think Phillips was in, though, because it's the first time he got a regular run of fitness. I mean, I think Phillips would have been in earlier. He'd been dogged by injuries.
Yeah, but we're all talking about Snodgrass and Forrest, you know, in the two wide positions, and then all of a sudden Phillips is there, and he did well in the games.
But again, Snodgrass wasn't getting a game for West Ham.
Would it potentially be John McGinn's first start?
Yeah.
See, I think McGinn not got a friendly game somewhere.
Well, I mean, we're talking competitive. We're talking.
But that's why I'm saying Gordon will be looking at him in training. Yeah. He'll be looking at him against all the other, the MacArthurs and the Morrisons, and he'll be looking at them having wee games, and he'll be doing function and all that. And if he doesn't look at a place, if he thinks, as we've seen there, he's a very confident lad, he's just come off of 2 screamers, and he might be the guy that can open, because I think the problem is we don't open up teams.
Well, let me ask you this then: who's getting your starting 11 out of the players?
Yeah, I would probably take a chance in McGinn rather than MacArthur.
So you're saying McGinn and Bannon?
I would no. I would say Forrest one side, Phillips the other side, Fletcher in the middle with Morrison and McGinn.
That's exactly what I think it'll be. Yeah, I think it'll be that as well. Yeah.
Okay, it's great this, isn't it? It's like the only thing missing is beer. It's as simple as that. This is like a pub argument. It's fantastic. And whoever gets it right will undoubtedly text the other person by the time we get to Thursday night. I don't care who plays as long as we win. It's very rare you get a chance to say that on this programme. In the next part of the programme, we are going to hear more from John McGinn on Callum McGregor, incidentally, and we'll hear from Lubomir Moravchik as well. The look on John Rankin's face is absolutely priceless. You're happy with that, aren't you?
I'm delighted. You told me Arsenal won the FA Cup 4.
It was actually all 5, but nevertheless, good to see Friends had finished. And I thought it was still going. It's on every channel.
It certainly is. That many repeats.
Yeah. Okay, let's stay with Scotland before we get a chance to tap into John's playing career at Queen of the South. Of course, there's Iron Brew Cup to talk about, as well as his role as the PFA chairman. So we're talking about the confidence of it all. Of course, Sakechi Anya and John McGinn mentioned yesterday they believe Scotland are indeed improving game by game.
We're just going from strength to strength. You know, I think really in the last meet-up you could see how we played as a very cohesive side. Everybody sort of knew what needed to be done, especially with an away performance in Lithuania. That was really good.
I think it's clear in the last few games. It's been a real change in style of play. There's a lot more energy. We're creating a lot more chances, and I think there's a real fluency in the team. So hopefully, if I'm involved this week, I can be involved in that and try and help. I think confidence and momentum played a big part. I think the game against England at home was a real turning point as well. I think it proved to everyone, even around the world, that Scotland are still a good team.
Okay, this will change from day to day, but John, since you're in here on this one day, we've listened to everything possible, other than the manager speaking tomorrow? What's your gut feeling on this one?
I think we'll win. I genuinely do. I think there's a lot of pressure. The players know what's at stake. I think we haven't been to a major tournament for so long. They want to try and get there. If not, then through the playoffs. And as you say, you heard John McGinn speaking there. He was talking about fluency and after the England game. I think the England game gave the players a lot of belief. I really do. And Scotland can compete. We just need to believe that. We're full of negatives in this country that we can't do this and we can't do that. We need to believe we can, because we have got good players, and it shows you when we do play against England that we have the spirit and the work rate. We just need to be able to match it with the ability at times.
Yeah. I'm going to press you for a scoreline.
Well, Ruffy says he doesn't think we'll score more than one goal. I think we will. I think it'll be 2-1.
2-1. Okay, Ruffy, I mean, is there any point in me asking now, because usually after 24 hours you change your mind again? I think maybe a goal. I think maybe a goal for Scotland. I think it's going to be as tight as a goal, 1-0.
Well, if it's going to be 1-0, we're not going to have any nails by the 90 minutes, because we'll all be in tender hooks right up until even extra time.
Just out of curiosity, have we moved somewhere? We're in Scotland. I mean, that's exactly what we do. We never get it easy. If it's 4-0 at half time, I am taking you out for an all expenses paid meal with John and his family.
Yeah, no, I do think it'll be a nervous night. I think it's they're another team who don't score that many goals either. You know, my main worry is they will come here thinking a draw is enough for them, and that's why I keep casting my mind back to that second goal we lost against England, where we could be getting into this game a point ahead of them. And we would be just looking for a draw. My main worry is these teams are capable enough to see out games. That's why I think we need to score 2 goals. And I'm going to hope that John's right, that we do get 2 goals. So if we get 2 goals, we'll win. Yeah.
Yesterday we had one of the most gifted players ever to play in Scotland talking about his home country. I'm talking, of course, about Slovakia's Lubomir Moravcik. He offered his prediction on this one.
For me, most likely result is going to be draw. For me. But what I said with the fans, it's an advantage for Scotland in this game. But Slovakia, I think, doesn't come only defend, because played very well against England, very strong team. First 20 minutes keep very well ball and score goal. I think that is way to come to Scotland, play this football.
Yeah, so Lubo doesn't believe for a minute that Slovakia are going to come here and defend. He thinks they'll have the confidence, based on what's happened before, that they can, you know, come to Hampden Park and get away with a win. If it's a draw, I think we're goosed.
Yeah, I think so. I think they will come defensively, though. I think the longer they can stay in the game and frustrate Scotland, they'll get the crowd on our players back. So I don't share that thought, but it will be extremely difficult. We obviously seen what happened over in Slovakia, and when you look at it now, it was probably a turning point in the group, because we knew what we had to do after that. They have good defensive players. I think Martin Skittle still plays for them as well. He's obviously an experienced defender, but I think they will come, and I think they will try and frustrate. And it's, as Ruffy spoke about earlier, we need players that can go and carve open teams and make high-risk passes that are not going to send the other team on the attack, but also be able to put them under threat by playing through the lines and be able to go and create chances.
Yep, I agree with that. I think it has to be, I mean, I will say that old-fashioned, let's get up and at them, but the games have moved on since Gordon keeps telling that, and he's right, he's perfectly right. But I remember being at games at Hampden where the crowd and the players believe that you can put these teams under pressure. They're big quality, the quality players, they've got millions of caps, but you go into any game at any level and put a team under pressure, then you know, chances fall your way. And I think if Phillips and Forrest are going to get the byline and put quality balls in, we need more than Lee Griffiths in the box. That's why I'm saying the midfield players that we pick have got an important role. They've got to be in around about the 18-yard box, and we've got to have somebody who can hit the net. You know, and that's why I'm going McGinn. I think if we look at the game, the success of the game at the end of the last campaign with the boy Matt Ritchie who come on, you know, and hit a screamer for 20, 25 yards. Sometimes that's the kind of goal you need to score against these teams, because they're quality defenders and you need to hit something spectacular. I think if you look at most of the Champions League games, the highlights, you know, when games are nothing each or whatever, somebody comes up with something unbelievable. And sometimes you need the kind of players that can do that, and let's hope the guys can do that on the night.
Yeah, okay. Well, fingers crossed. You can give us your thoughts on it at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter and facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. We are optimistic. We think it'll be a goal. John thinks 2-1. Ruffy, did you say 2-1 as well?
Yeah, I'm going for 2-0.
I'm going to go 1-0 on this one, and we might change our minds, give or take the words of Gordon Strachan, which we'll hear on tomorrow's programme. Just looking at all the other international managers, it was interesting to hear Michael O'Neill just talking about, you know, his career. Obviously his stock is high, Ruffy, but he mentioned that he's wary of leaving international football for a job in club football. You can understand why. Every night we're talking about managers getting bumped.
Yeah, I think the only way you would leave an international team was if you miss the day-to-day goings on at a club. You know, there's nothing, John will tell you, there's nothing better than turning up at a club in the morning, you know, and meeting your mates and having the banter that goes on and the training. And that's, as your international manager, I think that's the biggest thing that you miss, because obviously you're only meeting up 8 games a year. So, but again, it depends obviously what jobs come along. Sometimes you get offered a job you just can't say no to. Yeah.
Have you been surprised by the turnaround in managers? I mean, Lee McCulloch, the latest. Obviously, we're hearing that Lee just thought, you know, he offered his resignation because he didn't think he could do anything else with the club, and especially the result against Ross County.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I really am. I mean, you look at the amount of managers that we go through each year. It's scary, really. I mean, in this country we develop a lot of good coaches, but over the years we've developed great managers. We really have. And at this moment in time, we're so intent in getting coaches through their coaching badges. It's how else do we actually help them become a manager? And you look at obviously Alec Smith last week coming back, and I think a lot of people could learn off of Alec. I mean, you look at his man management skills and how he's been about, and the way he is with players. Players love that, and they love responding to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for Lee.
But how does a manager you work with Peter Houston, how does a manager Peter Houston, with so much positivity and getting everything out of that Falkirk side and the achievements over the last 3 years, how does it suddenly just switch off?
It's difficult. I mean, sometimes you need a change of voice. I mean, we always hear this, we need a change of voice. But you can get a change of voice in the training ground. I mean, you speak about Peter Houston. I'll use Peter as an example. He didn't get involved a lot in training. He let the other coaches take it, which was great. And I mean, I worked with Peter at United as well, and he could coach. He was a really good coach. But for whatever reason, it just didn't work for him. And I'm sure he'll get another job very soon. But over the piece, my manager's lifespan is not as long as what it used to be. I mean, you look at it now, and I don't even know who the longest serving manager is in the SPL. I'd imagine it's Derek McInnes. Maybe being
I think it's Alan Archibald.
No, because it could be, aye. Yeah, what, 4, 5 years max?
Yeah.
That's what it is just now. And I mean, Derek's done it reasonably well, and look at what Alan Archibald achieved last year. But when you give managers the time, they can develop their own squad and bring youth players through and build something quite special, which Derek McInnes has over the last few years.
Yeah, I'm looking at the contenders, Ruffy. You know, Jim McIntyre, Paul Hartley, Gary Holt, Dylan Kerr, Jack Ross. Just briefly, pick one.
But Jim McIntyre for me. I've said it before. You know, the CV that he's got to go into board meeting and what he's done in the last couple of years is good enough for me. Okay, coming up after the break, we'll have a quick chat with John about his career and, of course, Queen of the South.
So close. Ruffy, you happy with that?
I'm happy. That's the first one in 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say, was it Action Man that swayed it for you? A tough one to call. Could have been the Trogs. Anyway, how are you doing on the quiz? Always like to try and guess the year every night. And of course, we always like to have special guest John Rankin, Queen of the South midfielder, PFA chairman, with us here. Before we get into the meat and bones of Queen of the South and some of the issues you deal with on a daily basis, just one, a couple of stories that I thought I'd get your thoughts on, lads. One of them is just looking at Gerard Piqué. We were talking about him yesterday, Ruffy, on the stance he's taken backing Barcelona and criticising the treatment handed out to the people of Catalonia by Spanish police when they were trying to cast a vote in a peaceful manner. He said if it becomes a problem, his stance on Catalonia, then he would walk away from international football. When we went out to train yesterday with the Spanish side, the national squad, he was booed mercilessly by a group of fans. I often try and take my step back from the type of fan that's there. You know, sometimes you get a selection of young people or a collection of people just moronic in behaviour. You can understand why there's ill feeling, you know, from the north of Catalonia down to, you know, the middle in Madrid.
Yeah, but we've seen it throughout the years how passionate they are in Catalonia. You know, it's been there for a long time. And I suppose when you're associated with a club in that area, you know, you become part of it. And all he's doing is expressing his feelings, you know, that towards the people and the club itself. So I would think anybody who's booing him, you know, I think he's been in the game long enough to realise that why he's making that kind of stand and stand by it. Yeah,
of course, there's all sorts of speculation that if this whole thing, you know, grows arms and legs and there was independence for the region, then a number of clubs would have to leave the Spanish league, or would they be involved in the Spanish league? They wouldn't have to. They might be you know, thrown out of the Spanish league. And the point was put to Arsene Wenger, and he said, I think you might have to invite some Scottish clubs into the English league before you could invite Barcelona.
It's a good point. I mean, we've spoke about it for years here, about both the old firm joining the English Premiership, and if Arsene Wenger's saying that, then he obviously knows something that we don't. Either that he's trying to make it more appealing for Barcelona to join the Premiership.
It's a good call from him. Again, it does raise that interesting question, but I think we're a long way off from that. But certainly a good talking point. Over and above that, it looks as if, and I'm just picking up on this point, you guys are one of 5 or 6 teams that Alan Johnson believes could win that championship. It's so tight. Do you see it that way?
It's a crazy league, it really is. I mean, you look at it and everyone can beat anybody in their given day. All the teams are really good, they've got good players. And I mean, we've seen it on Saturday, I think it was. Dundee United go away to Dunfermline, and Dunfermline have been flying all season, and United came away emphatically with a 3-1 victory. When you look at the same side the week before, they beat St Mirren 3-0. Who Dunfermline had obviously come off the back of a great 3-0 win at St Mirren. And St Mirren had beat United 3-0 previously, 3 weeks before that. So it swings and roundabouts, it really is. You look at the league, and at this moment in time, I agree, there's 6 teams. They're not out at the top, but they've got double points, and for this stage of the season, there's no runaway leader, which is great. I said earlier, all teams are even par. All teams in the league, I think, their biggest strength is going and attacking. So it's great for the punters, it really is, because they're going and watching goals week in, week out. And most teams play to their strength, which is good. They're not looking at other teams and going, oh, they're really good at attacking, so we must defend. Each team's going, no, we're good at attacking, so we'll attack. So it's just basically waves of attack. It's not great for the midfielder, mind you, because they're going box to box for 90 minutes. But I've enjoyed it so far. It's been a great season. We're only 7 or 8 games in. But as I said, each game's exciting, and you feel as if you can win every one that you play in.
Are you in contention? Do you believe you guys will be there or thereabouts?
I think we need to put a run together. I think we need to be a lot more consistent than what we are at this moment in time. We've started the season really well. When I say that, obviously there's only 8 games gone, But the start of the season I would take is the first 5 games. The past 3, I don't think we've really hit the heights that we did earlier on, and we need to get back to that. We need to get back to doing the things that we do good. We need to get back to doing them really well, and then we'll take it from there, and it'll give us a good platform to build on.
Yeah. How highly do you rate your manager Gary Naismith?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the main reasons where I went to Queen of the South at the beginning of this year. He's really infectious, he really is. He gets through everything with a fine-tooth comb. You look at the stats he comes away with, and the way he analyses other teams, he's definitely good. And as I said, that he's so enthusiastic as well about training. So he's good and on his way to the top of coaching, as I would probably think.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about his career, Ruffy, I mean, international football, of course, Hearts, Everton. He was a top player.
Yeah, I think the good thing about it is the games that he's played with, he's not hung about waiting on a reasonable big like championship team or a Division 1 team down in England. He's identified that he needs to start at not bottom level, but he needs to start at a level that he learns the game from the management side and pick up everything that goes along with it, and hopefully he's with a successful club. And then somebody bigger will come in for him, and obviously, as John's saying there, he looks as if he's a player and a manager who can go to a higher level. And with these jobs that are coming up just now, who's to say his name isn't going to be mentioned at any of them?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's people are getting sacked every week the way we're going here. He could be, John, you could be a manager by the end of the month. Just out of curiosity, are you thinking about coaching yet?
I'm coaching at this moment in time. I love it. I do see myself coaching, whether being a manager or not. Over the next few years, I think I need to go and learn. I really do. I think I need to learn off people who's been in the game a lot longer than me, and who've actually set up coaching sessions and be able to pick their brain and learn from them. I don't want somebody to tell me my coaching's great or anything else. I want them to tell me what I'm doing wrong, so I can learn from it and benefit from it, and then begin to put things right. And hopefully I'll learn over the next few years. It's a transitional period at this moment in time, because obviously I know I'm not going to play forever. I'm 34 just now, be 35 at the end of this season. If I can get another year or two out it, then great. But if not, I need that coaching bit behind me, where I'm ready to go and be able to coach at some capacity at whatever level it finds me. Yeah,
well, I like the fact that you're a man who can take criticism on board and react to it. You need to stop wearing the same gear as Ruffy. That's your first mistake. The second part I'm going to ask you is your role as PFA chairman, because over the last couple of weeks, Kyle Lafferty bravely has come out and talked about the gambling. Is that something that constantly you have to, or is it something constantly that the PFA and yourself go round and try and emphasise to boys that they need to talk? I thought Kyle Lafferty was brave to come out and say, look, I've got a problem, I need help.
Yeah, he's definitely brave. I mean, over the years ago, probably players would have came to myself or Fraser as chief executive and asked for help. Whereas now we've set up the kind of our own brand of it, where we don't get involved in it at all. People they're there to speak to, whether it's mental health issues, gambling issues, any sort of issues. You can go and speak to our own doctors and psychologists over at the Hampden Health Clinic. They can help with you. It's all anonymous, so we don't know anything that's going on, which is good for the player, and it gives them confidence, because some players will find it difficult to talk to either their wife or their partner or their mum or their dad, but speaking to a stranger is completely different to speaking to someone you know.
Yeah.
And we encourage them to do so. As I said before, it's anonymous, and I fully respect Kyle coming out and saying, listen, I've got a problem, and him doing that will not only help himself, but will help plenty more players in Scottish football by saying, well, if Kyle Lafferty's got a problem and can admit to it, then surely that we can as well. And I always encourage anyone that's got a problem to stand up and get help. It really does help. I mean, also you look at the Chris Mitchell Foundation, which has just been set up recently. I didn't play with Chris. I obviously know a lot about him being at Queen of the South, but that's something that you would think we could have helped with if we'd have known about it. And it was unfortunate that he passed away back a year past in May.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the PFA does a lot of good work, and it will continue to do so. Of course, Show Racism, the red card, is on the way in the next couple of weeks as well. Is that something that you guys regularly get involved in as well, and continue the message with the players?
Yeah, well, I'm actually club ambassador just now for the Show Racism, the red card campaign. It's next Saturday, I think, so. Yeah. Maybe at home that day, so it's a massive campaign every year. It's just to obviously refresh people's minds, and there's no place for it in the game, any sort of racism, and if we can keep that out of the game, then our game will grow and expand and be better for it.
Yeah. Well, John, I hope the coaching continues to go well. I still think your legs have got a couple of years in you. Every Queen of the South player I talk to tells me you're one of the fittest guys at the club, much to the annoyance of Ruffy and myself. But long may your career continue on the field as well. Good luck to Queen of the South at the weekend. Thanks to John Rankin for joining us. Tomorrow on the programme, Barry Ferguson will be our Wednesday Bootroom guest as ever, and none better to look forward to that match between Scotland and Slovakia. From John Rankin, Alan Ruff and myself, Peter Martin, thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow at 7:30 if you can.